So, welcome Abhishek sir and welcome students. Am I audible to all?
Yes. Thank you so much, Garima ma'am.
So students, I would like first of all to introduce Abhishek sir to you. So Mr. Abhishek Mathur is an Agile project manager, Scrum Master and a PMO consultant with more than 13 years of extensive work experience in the IT sector. He is proficient Scrum Master, product owner, and has enabled the organizations to work on Agile methodology. He has an extensive experience in effective project managerial and process development skills in software, web development, covering all the IT departments. And he is currently associated with the D. Curtis Corporation as project manager. So he has been there on the technical panels and he has taken many virtual interviews as well. So we thought that he is a perfect combination to guide you guys for your upcoming virtual interview. And this was on part of Abhishek sir. And Abhishek sir, I would also like to introduce our participants today. The prime focus of our this session is that we are proud and pleased to tell you that 19 students of BTech batch 21 of our Purnima group have been shortlisted for the pre-placement interview opportunity through Hack with Enfi 2020 for the profiles of Power Programmer and System Engineer Specialist profiles.
Awesome.
And I'm also delighted to tell you that Mr. Kuldeep Taylor of final year CS PCE is among the top 100 students shortlisted for the profile of Power Programmer at the package of 8 LPA. So we are really looking forward from this session that you can guide our students for attending this virtual interview, some tips, some essentials. These students are technically sound because they have already cleared 2 rounds of Hack with Enfi, but now there are some things which they might skip during the interview. So we would request you to tell about the same. And I now hand over the session to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Garima ma'am. Thank you so much, first of all, Purnima College and Garima ma'am and Deepthi ma'am for inviting me in this for this interaction. I am delighted, and I am coming to know that I'm already dealing with some rock stars here. So that's awesome. So guys, Garima ma'am
Yes, sir.
already gave a brief introduction of mine. So just to let you know, so I have around 13 years of experience in IT, and it's been a while. I've been in the industry. I know all the know-hows and integrities, how it goes on, and I have been taking interviews like almost now and then. So in a month, I take around 4 to 5 interviews of experienced people, less over on the fresher side. So I thought it's a very good opportunity that I can share my experience with you, so that when you guys go for that your final rounds, you are already well prepared. Since due to this current era and current pandemic situation, we are bound to have virtual interviews. So that's how it is. So I would just like to share my experience with you. If that can help you somewhere in your interviews, I'm pretty sure it will help. But it's so nice to know that you guys have already cleared such tough rounds already, and you all guys are already on the verge of placement. So I believe this session becomes really important for you guys also to be very interactive with me, so that wherever you need some you have some questions, you have some queries, please do ask me. Whether it's on the anything on the interview side, feel free to ask me, because you guys are on the verge of getting selected. So no, I don't think anybody of like all of us would want that you guys get selected and go to your dream companies. So with the same positive note, I would like to start. So I have prepared a small presentation, which I would like to start with. The agenda is not to present this presentation, actually. The agenda is that whatever pointers I have written in this presentation, I would like to share those pointers in detail with you. And if you have any questions, any queries on that, please feel free to go ahead. Do you guys all have your videos on or not? I would like to have all of your videos on, because that's how your interview is going to be. So let's start from today itself. If you guys just open up your videos. So first of all, guys, we mentioned in the heading that, essentials of a virtual interview. Now, just have this in your mindset that you don't have to treat this as a virtual interview. You have to treat this as a face-to-face interview only, right? Forget this, that it's a virtual interview. Just treat it that in a manner that you are sitting in the front of your interviewer and you are just sitting face-to-face with him. That's how you have to prepare yourself. Then only you will be successful. If you treat it as a virtual interview, you create this blockage, then it will create a problem for you. So just treat yourself that you are sitting face to face with your interviewer, and that's how you have to prepare yourself, whether it's your body language, whether it's your setup, whether it's the way you are speaking, the way you are communicating, the way you are answering. Everything has to be in a manner that the way that you are directly talking to face with your interviewer. So since now this is a virtual background, or we are talking to each other virtually. So right now, like, I'm talking to you virtually. First, let's have a look at some prerequisites, that what all you need to have first, what all you need to ensure before even you start with the interview, right? So first of all, so the most important and the most basic thing, you need to have seamless internet connectivity. So guys, I have been taking interviews, very frequently, and I see that, while taking the interviews, it happens that, out of any uncontrollable situation, like the electricity goes out home, or you have like a disrupted internet connection, you guys need to ensure that wherever you are sitting, in whichever area you are sitting right at that point of time when you have your interview scheduled, please make sure that you have a seamless internet connectivity. If you need to have a broadband Wi-Fi, I believe that's the best to have. Go ahead and go somewhere where you can have it. Don't rely on mobile hotspots or any kind of temporary internet connections. It is very important, guys, that because the moment that internet connectivity breaks during the interview, a flow breaks. The moment the flow breaks, whatever environment you set up, whatever aura or connection you set up with your interviewer, it all flashes up, it all goes down. So ensure that whenever you are preparing for your interview, just 1 hour back or 30 minutes beforehand, you are preparing for the tips which I'm telling you right now. To ensure that you have seamless internet connectivity, you are connected to a Wi-Fi or broadband, whether you have to go to a friend's house or you have it in your home, make sure to do that, right? Also, at the same time, keep a backup device or backup internet connectivity source with you. Like for instance, keep your mobile hotspot ready in case that you lose connectivity anyhow, or keep a dongle with you so that the moment it breaks, you are able to connect with that particular other internet source, right? So that's the first point which I would like to tell you or go ahead with. The other very important point is, guys, that be familiar with the other platform from wherever you will be giving the interview, like Zoom, Google Hangout, it can be Microsoft Teams. So like I have taken interviews on all the different platforms, and they all have some kind of different controls to take care of. So like you should know where to unmute yourself, you should know where to start your camera from, or put your camera off or mute yourself. So guys, let me share you. So and that's what I believe is more important for you guys to note down. So like I was taking an interview like 5 days back of a person who was, and he was an experienced PM. I was taking an interview of a PM, and first of all, two things happened with him. So first of all, the moment we started interview on a Google Hangout, probably he had never given an interview or never interacted on Google Hangout. So what happened is, the moment he tried to join Hangout, first of all, he was stuck for the first 10 minutes. He was not able to join. He had to call me on phone and tell him that I'm not able to join and I'm facing issues. Give me 10 more minutes. So you can imagine what would be my first impression. So that was the first thing happened with him. I waited patiently for him. I told him that no problem, no issues. I'm waiting for you. Have some other internet connectivity with you and just join out. Now, when he joined Google Hangout, the other issue that which happened with him was he didn't know how to unmute himself. So what happened? I am speaking. I'm saying, hey Rajesh, how you? What's up? And let's start with the interaction. He is speaking. His camera is on, but he is not able to unmute himself. So I was telling him that, hey Rajesh, unmute yourself. You are not audible, and he was not knowing how to do that. So maybe he was not knowing the controls. Now that actually worsens the impression of the interviewer. So you need to have that know-how already. That where to unmute yourself, when to mute. You should. The moment you will Google, you will find out that on Zoom also you have some shortcut keys to mute, unmute yourself. How to use Microsoft Teams. How to use Hangout. It is also possible, guys, that you may not have an account for those particular platforms. So beforehand, you guys need to check whether that particular platform needs an account, or you can enter as a guest, just entering your name. But you need to practice that. So you can practice that with your friend. That that you already know that you guys have a Microsoft Team interview. You have a Microsoft Team connection. Go ahead, try to use Microsoft Team connection with one of your mates, and you will come to know that you can enter as a guest, and you start sharing your screen, start seeing yourself. So you will become familiar with the platform. That's very, very important, because in the front of interviewers, if you are delayed for even 5 seconds or even 1 minute, that may leave a bad impression. Third point which I'm mentioning here is power up and plug in your computer. It's very important, guys. Keep your laptop plugged in. Don't rely on its battery. Don't rely on anything. Keep your laptop connected with your charger. Keep your desktop connected, to electricity, and have a backup device also. So, for instance, you have a desktop, have one alternative laptop ready with the link itself. So, for instance, anything happens with your laptop or your primary device when you are giving the interview, anything happens, the laptop gets hanged, it gets hanged, it happens, the screen gets stuck somewhere. Then you should be able to join with some other device. The worst case scenario, if you're not able to, don't have another alternate device, have your mobile ready. Go to your mobile, open that link, be ready with the link. Be ready for the scenario that the moment your laptop gets stuck somewhere, you are able to click on the link on the mobile itself and join from the mobile. Although it's not a advice scenario to join from mobile. So guys, don't ever join any interview from your mobile device. Don't ever do that, because what happens is the interviewers can easily see that you are trying from a mobile. The mobile screen is pretty much small, and it doesn't give you a full final or a good view actually. So it will happen, when you go to your mobile devices. Also in mobile devices, the controls change of that platform. The audio button may go somewhere, the video button may go somewhere, and you may not able to come to know about them beforehand. So don't ever use your mobile devices for interview sessions when you are going for such important interviews. Always have desktop or computer for your interview sessions. It leaves a very, very bad impression, when you are trying to give an interview with your mobile device as a primary device, right? So never ever do that. As I already mentioned, set up a backup device. So that's very important for you guys. Test your setup before, and as I already told you, like 30 minutes before or 1 hour before, make sure to test your setup. So like 30 minutes before, call up your friend and say, hey, I'm sharing my video to you on my Zoom. Can you see me clearly? Is my voice audible to you clearly? Just have this interaction before it with your family member or with your mate on that particular platform itself. Because when you start with your interview, the show is on. So like, at that point of time, you cannot ask your interviewer and five times in a row, hey, am I audible? Hey, am I audible? Or can you see me? Can you see me? You can ask me one time, hey, hello sir, this is Abhishek. Am I audible to you? Is my voice clear? And can you see me, please? So that's it. If you're asking multiple times, it creates a bad impression. That means that you are not even confident that your setup is good or not. So make sure that your setup is good, right? Now, coming to the audio and the video part of your interview. So since it's a virtual interaction, as I already said, it will be always have a face-to-face interaction. By default, enable your camera. You need to have a face-to-face interaction. You need to show yourself. So guys, please remember this, that right now you are going ahead and telling, hey guys, take me in, buy me out. I'm here to sell myself to your organization, and I am the best resource you can have. So until and unless they see you, they will not, half of your impression goes by your body language, the way you are interacting right now, right? So you need to have your cameras on. You need to have clear voice, clear audible voice. So let's talk about the camera first, and then we'll come to the voice. So when you are talking, like when you enable your camera, like you're seeing me right now. Now make sure that almost this much part of your body is visible, right? Just imagine if I'm showing only my face here. Like right now, if I'm giving into like this, hello sir, how are you? This is Abhishek, and my face is like this. Let's see. So you will yourself realize it's not a good scenario, and it's not the way it should be. Like, so I'm all on your camera. So like, hello sir, I'm Abhishek Mathur. I've done my engineering from Purnima College of Engineering. If I'm saying like this with my face all over the camera, it doesn't look good, right? So you have to maintain a balance of your body. So like, just have this much, that your head, your face, this much is visible. This much part of your body is visible. He can see your formals. He can see your dress up. The interviewer can see your dress up. He can see that you are well groomed. You're looking good. And then you use your hands, you use your faces for expressing yourself. So this much view you need to have when you are talking to your interviewer. So that's about the camera. And when you are talking to him, maintain an eye-to-eye contact. So I'm just going forward with the flow. You will see all these points in the presentation. So maintain this eye-to-eye contact. Keep seeing on the camera. The moment you are seeing somewhere like this or somewhere like this. So just remember, guys, right now you are virtually connected to the interviewer. He's only seeing your face primarily. That's it. So whatever expressions come on your face, if your eyes are like this, you are thinking about something, and you are giving an introduction like this. Hello, sir. I have done my interview. I've done my engineering from Purnima College. I'm a pass out of 2007. So you can see that he will be directly seeing your face. He'll be able to see where your eyes are reflecting, where your expressions are going. So just make sure that you are looking into the camera straight forward, just like the way you are seeing him right now. So interact eye to eye, make an eye to eye contact, have a smile on your face, natural smile. No need to show off. Natural smile, natural expressions. That's it. That's about when you portray yourself on the camera. Now talking about the headphones, make sure guys you are not on loudspeaker. So you please wear your headset, please have your noise cancellation headphones available. You are sitting at your home, right? You may have your interviews at this peak time. This is most of your interviews will be in this peak time of your morning or afternoon, right? So there are so many activities going at your home. There are so many activities going wherever you are sitting. You need to ensure, first of all, tell your family members or friends to leave you in a closed space. Secondly, you already know that there will be so many activities going, so many background noises will happen. You are at your home, so make sure to wear headsets. Make sure to have noise cancellation headphones around. If you are on a loudspeaker, you may have some voices which you think are normal for you, but the interviewer may not like it. There may be some construction going on, there may be some thug going on, and the interviewer may not like it. For you, it may seem normal. For you, it's a day-to-day thing. So make sure to wear your headsets. Make sure to have these noise cancellation headphones if you can find them. Otherwise, normal headsets are fine. You can use them, but use them. Make sure your mic is working. You are audible clearly, right? So make sure to have that beforehand. Coming to the second slide, I already discussed many of our points here. Again, going to them. So till now, any questions anybody has? Cool. Okay, let me go ahead.
Sir, should we have a virtual background for ourselves?
No, don't, no, please don't. So I would suggest don't have it. Coming to the background. I was coming to the background. Very good point you mentioned. Thank you so much for asking this question. May I know your name?
My name is Deval Sethi.
Yeah, hi Deval. So thank you so much for asking this question. It's very important. So I was coming to the background. There is a point here also. So like you see my background, it's a plain wall. Although you can see my kids' cartoons there, so sorry for that. But that should not be the case also. So the thing is, background is very important. Don't have a virtual background when you are giving interview. I, as an interviewer, can have any kind of background. I can have a virtual background of a beach, and I can be sipping up a coffee, and I can be taking your interview. I, as an interviewer, can do that. But please don't do that when you are giving the interview. You guys have to have a very decent background, have a very professional background. So by professional background, what do you mean? No need to have a professional setup. So very simple. Try to have a very clean. Try to have a background of very clean wall, plain wall. That's the best background you can have. Otherwise, no problem in that. You don't have a plain wall at your home. Try to have a background, like for instance, you have a bookshelf which is cleanly, neatly, all books are cleanly, neatly shuffled up. Everything is placed neatly. Try to have a very neat background. Even if you have paintings on the wall, they look neat. It's fine. It's cool. It works. Okay. So try to have a very decent background. But whatever walls you have walls at your home, or you have anything at a background which is neat, which is clean, which doesn't look gaudy, which doesn't give you a gaudy feel, a feel like for instance, if you have imagine if this is a dark purple wall, will it look good if I'm giving an interview? So if I'm sitting in front of you, I'm giving it's a dark purple wall, will it look good? Like half of your interview's focus would be like, what type of wall is it? What color is it? So you need to have a focus on yourself. The interview should focus on yourself. To try to have a light background wall, or maybe a background which is pretty much simple, very neat, very clean. No need to have virtual backgrounds, guys. That gives a very bad impression to the interviewers, because it seems like you guys are trying to show off yourself or fake yourself, or maybe you are in some other mood or other zone. So don't have virtual backgrounds. Just have natural backgrounds. Worst case scenario, like you have a joint family, for instance, you have so much activity going on, and you guys don't have a wall or a window or a room where you can sit quietly. You need to have a very quiet and a very very quiet place when you're giving the interview. Minimum noise. Go in the worst case scenario, go to a garden, go to any kind of garden which is big enough. You can sit at a corner, and you can have a natural background of your trees and plants. No problem in that. Nobody minds that. Until and unless the background is good enough, everything seems natural, and you and your interviewer are talking. The primary focus is conversation, and not going on the other sides. That's the thing which we want to achieve. We want that the interviewer should focus only on you, not on the other things going around. Even if you're going to a garden, sit at a corner where there is no background movement, right? Sit at a corner, you will find like many places in a garden. If that's, I'm talking about the worst case scenario. Otherwise, try to have a room which is closed and which has plain walls or a decent enough walls, and you can give your interview there. So that's about the background. And thank you so much, Deval, again for asking this question. Second point, which I want to come ahead, coming on this presentation, be on mute when you are not talking. So like sometimes it happens, guys, that you are talking and you for instance, the interviewer asked you, hey Abhishek, so let's start with your introduction. Can you give me a brief about yourself? And you start giving your brief, and then you are done. And then you are like, you are sitting like that and you are waiting for the interview. And at that point of time, interviewer is doing something else. He may be talking to the other panelist. He may be sipping tea. He may be noting down something. At that point of time, make sure to mute yourself. Generally, what happens is during the flow, we forget that. So we keep ourselves unmuted. So the chances are, the reason why I'm suggesting this is, chances are that you may have some background noise going on somewhere. You may have some activity going on somewhere. Anything. So to avoid that, the moment you are not talking and whenever your interviewer is speaking, mute yourself. So for instance, sorry. Okay. So mute yourself when even your interviewer is asking you questions or he's interacting with you. So mute yourself, and when you will go to Google, you will find shortcut keys for each and every platform. So like in Zoom, you will find shortcut key to mute and mute yourself. I guess it's space bar. So you can mute and mute yourself by a space bar. You will find shortcut keys, or keep your mouse handy so that you can quickly mute and unmute yourself. So when your interviewer is asking you questions, when the panel is discussing among themselves, whoever is taking your interview, mute yourself. Only unmute yourself when you have to speak. Right? That's a very important part. As I already mentioned, be visible. Keep your camera on until and unless the interviewer tells you that you can, you can keep your camera off. All that never happens. But if the interview says so. Also, one more thing, like if you, for instance, generally it happens that if you have a bad internet connectivity, when you enable your camera, it worsens this down. So if you have a bad internet connectivity, you can tell your interviewer, sir, can you just excuse me? I need to put my camera off because I have a bad internet connectivity. So let me put off my camera, so that may help in having the seamless connectivity. So generally, when you put your camera off, because the moment you put on your camera, it takes your bandwidth of the internet. So you to avoid any lags in the internet connectivity, if you're having a bad connection, put your camera off, but inform your interviewer that that I'm putting my camera off because it seems to be like a bad internet connection. So kindly excuse me and let me have my camera off at that point of time, and put your camera off by informing them. But try to have your camera on. Try to be interactive. See, guys, you guys are giving an interview. You guys are this is most important part. Like you guys are giving an interview. You guys are showing off yourself. Like hey, I am the one. So you should show yourself. You just treat yourself. You are sitting face to face with your interviewer. So you should always have your camera on, right? I talked about the background already. Okay, very important point. And for you guys, like youngsters, this is very important. So you guys are always multitasking. Even I am. I am. So at the same time, you're on laptop, you're on WhatsApp, you're on Instagram, and you may be talking to your friends, maybe somewhere else. You guys are multitasking every time. When you are giving the interview, it's by default. You guys cannot multitask. You have to focus on your interview itself. This is the most important point of your life. Just remember, just set it up in your mind that this is the most important point of your life. You are having your dream come true. You guys on the verge of being selected in your dream companies. Like you guys who are like talking to me right now, I already know that you guys have cleared your technical rounds, which is a very big thing. Those are the main blockers. Now, whatever interview rounds you will have, each round is a step to you on getting your dream organization. So just treat this, whatever interviews now you will have, treat each interview as the most important life moments of yours. Those are your life moments which can actually shape up your life. Keep that in mind. And when you're giving the interview, don't have any kind of other task going on. Put your phone on silent, put it off, switch it off, put it on silent, and invert it out, right? You don't need to look at the phone even at once. Even if you're doing like this, I'm talking. So the interviewer will come to know you are seeing something else, right? There are 2 points of it, right? First of all, he'll realize that you are seeing at your phone or something else. Secondly, don't ever try to cheat on the interview. So like if you think that you guys can open up books, right? Open up technical books, open up a Java book, open up a C book, and or you can have some other browser open where you can search for a question what interviewer is asking. Don't try to cheat your interviewers. Don't. They understand. They understand that you may try to look somewhere else. Just be natural, guys. Have your knowledge intact. Don't try to look anywhere for any kind of answers. You better only technical answers you can look for. For any kind of HR answers, you have to frame them up. So don't try to cheat. Don't think that it's an open book session. You can easily look into the book, can give an answer. See, your face is all visible to him. The moment you will try to do that, he'll capture it. Interviews are very experienced. It takes me 5 seconds for me to realize whether the guy is actually knows the answer or he is framing it up. I hardly take 5 seconds to observe that. So don't do that. So I have been in such interviews, and the interviewers, they are trying to look for the answers. They're like, so let me think, and then he's trying to look here and there. It takes me 5 seconds to realize that he's trying to look somewhere else, and then I know how to deal with him because it annoys me. You have to be natural, right? You have to be natural. If you know the answer, well and good, go ahead with it. Be crisp, be precise. If you don't know the answer, just say, sir, sorry, sir, I'm sorry. I'm not able to recall the answer right now. So, but thank you for the question. I'll surely search it out after the interview. That's it. That's it. Go move ahead. Give him the opportunity to ask more questions from you to know more about you. So if you don't know the answer, instantly say, I don't know this answer in a nice manner, so that he can ask you more questions. Just don't go over the to and fro on that particular question and try to frame it up. That will waste your time also, and that will make the interviewer lose interest in you. Okay. Then the next point is dress formal and be well groomed. This is very important, guys. So like you are showing yourself on a camera. This is the only way the interviewer can interact with you. So you have to be well groomed. By well groomed, I say for boys, clean shaved, or if you want to keep a beard, have it well trimmed. No need to show any styles, no need to show any burns. You can do it after you get placement. You will have a very good salary. Go to saloons of your choices and go get your haircuts, whatever you want. But when you are giving the interview, be a decent guy. Have your hair completely groomed. Even for girls, like have your hair neatly tied up. Have a formal dress. Now, by formal dress, I mean a full dress. Now, let me tell you a very funny thing which happens, and you all must be aware, but this has happened practically with me, right? And one more thing which happened yesterday. Let me tell you that. So, by formal dress, we mean a formal shirt like I'm wearing right now. Don't try to have t-shirts. Please don't. And please, no way round t-shirts. No way. Just don't have round t-shirts. Even if you are having a t-shirt by chance, have it collared. Have proper formal dress, a formal shirt and a formal trouser. Now, half of the times you will think, okay, I will wear a formal shirt and I will have shorts, and I will wear a tracksuit and I'm fine with that. Now, let me tell you a practical scenario which happened yesterday. So I was in a client demo, I was in a client interaction actually. I was interacting with the client and we were having a interactive session. So what happened that, our client, he was sitting here, his camera was on, he was talking to me, and his shirt was informal, so he was talking to me. We were having a session, and then sunlight came from his window, and it was giving some glare to his eyes. So he stood up, and he just put up the window off. He stood up. He didn't realize that we were having a session. We were in the flow, so he just stood up and he closed the window and he came back. Now he was wearing 3/4. So he stood up when he was wearing 3/4. So he was wearing a formal shirt and he was wearing 3/4 below, and he just stood up and he sat down. Now he is my client, so I cannot say anything to him. It just got a smile to my face. But just imagine that if you are giving an interview. So when you are in an interview, you are in the flow, like you are conversing. For instance, some sunlight comes up, or you have to drink water and you have to stand up, and somewhere you're feeling nervous, you have to stand up. You will not realize at that point of time that you are wearing shorts or 3/4. You will just stand up and you will do something, and that may freak out the interviewer. So that will not give a very good impression. So just for that day, have complete formals. Other part is psychologically, when you are wearing formals, guys, it gives you a sense of confidence. Just realize that. So when you are in shorts, when you are in your casuals, it feels like you already are in relaxed mode. When you are in your formals, when you are dressed up neatly, it gives you a sense of confidence already. So you will go with that confidence, go with that sense of confidence. That's what I want. So please avoid any kind of semi-formals or kind of, any kind of casuals when you are in the interview. Secondly, coming to the body language part. So on the body language part, guys, have a very positive body language. So let me give you some tips here. Maybe they are on the slides, like I'll go down. But let me give you some tips. You are seeing me right now on my video. I'm not able to see anybody else. Maybe nobody opened up their cameras. But see, I'm sitting in front of you right now. How will I express myself? I will express myself from my face, from my facial expressions, and from my hands. That's the max thing. If I'm saying something, I will be moving my hands, right? So first of all, you need to have a very good posture when you are sitting in the front of interview on camera. So have a straight posture and kind of, so when you have a laptop around right here, just kind of lean in a bit, lean in ahead like this. So you don't need to be like this much, like this. There's no need to be. So this shows that you are stubborn, you are adamant. Just kind of lean in like this a bit. So when you are lean in terms of body language, it shows that you are taking interest in the conversation. So lean in a bit and show some interest in the conversation. It is a natural flow. So when you're talking to somebody, you will realize when you're talking to somebody, you are leaning ahead and talking to them. You're not sitting straight legs. You don't talk to your friends like this, right? You talk to your friends like this. That's the way it has to be. So lean in a bit and start talking to the interviewer. So right. Secondly, never ever sit in this posture. Don't cross your arms like this. It is natural flow for many of the people. Like they cross like this when they're interacting with people, and they're sitting like this. In terms of body language, this is not a good posture. It gives an impression that you're not interested in somebody who's talking to you. This means that you are adamant on your viewpoint, and you don't want to have a flexible conversation. So in terms of body language, this cross arm show that particular posture. So never ever sit like this when you are giving an interview, right? This is something which I wanted to tell you. Have a very confident body language, guys. No need to be afraid of anything. No need to be like think that okay, no, you should be nervous. You should be nervous. It is the most important point of your life, but you should not lack confidence. Go ahead with the confidence, right? And last, in this particular slide, I mentioned join before time. It's very important, guys. So when you have the bridge link, when you have the link for the session, make sure that you are in that particular bridge 5 minutes or 10 minutes before. You may be prompt for that, your interviewer would let you in, or your meeting admin will let you in. It's okay, but click on that particular interview link 10 minutes before. You should not be at any point of time late than the panelist. Like your panelists have joined and you are joining 5 minutes late, that already gives a very bad impression. So because at the same point of time, as I already told you, test your bridge beforehand, 30 minutes before. So make sure that 10 minutes before itself, you have clicked on this meeting link and you are waiting for the meeting to start. That's it. Don't give any chance that you are by chance like you are late than the interviewer. Don't have that happen. That gives a very, very bad impression. And that has happened with me all the time. Like there are many instances where the interviewees, like the people who are giving the interview, they are joining late. So as an interviewer, I am frustrated that when I am putting up my time, I'm I'm working, I have my valuable time with me, and then why I'm having my 30 minutes for you, and you are joining 10 minutes late. So if you think from my viewpoint, I will be annoyed. I will not be happy with that. So join beforehand. Okay. So this is just the infographic to show you. The way you see the first infographic, the guy who's having shorts, and he's sitting in shorts. I can be in that way when I'm taking an interview, but you cannot be in that way, right? So you have to choose some kind of a professional setup, which is mentioned in the infographic. No, so it's just an example that the lighting should be adequate, your face should be adequately visible, the space should be quiet, and the setup should be very normal. It should be like, by professional setup, it means a normal setup, as I told you, a normal background, plain background. No need to have any gaudy things here. No need to have any showcase or something like that, right? Any questions till now? Because this was all about the prerequisites to start for the interview. And this was, I believe, the most important part of this session, that what all you need to have before you start the interview or prerequisites for a virtual session. So I believe that was a very important section which we covered till now. Any questions on that?
Sir, should we have to give access to our computer to the interview?
You will. I don't think you will have to give access. Like the moment you click on the meeting link, it will already you will already have the access. I don't think it's gonna happen that you will be required to give access to something. So whenever even actually they would be required to give you access for accessing their meeting link. 99% of the time that's gonna happen.
So access to our computer, like screen sharing and all.
Like in what sense? Like in what sense? Access to what?
To our
Sure,
screen,
sorry.
screen sharing and
No, I don't think so. Like you can, if see, you don't need to share any screen at any point of time. I don't think so. Until and unless you have some program snippet to show, you are having a technical round and you need to show your code or you need to share your code. Only that point of time you will be. The interview will specifically tell you to share your screen. That can you show me your code, guy? Can you show me your code, buddy? I want to review it in real time. Then you can go ahead and share your screen. But I don't think that as a fresher, when you're going for an interview, at any point of time, you will be required to share your screen for anything. Even if it's a technical round or it's a HR round or any of the rounds, you don't need to share a screen for anything. It will be all be a verbal interaction. And if you have to code, the only reason why you may be required to share your screen is when you have a coding session, you have a coding round interview where you are required to code in real time, or you need to get your code reviewed by the interviewer in real time, the moment, like within the interview itself. In that case, the interviewer must tell you, okay, can you share your screen and show me the code snippet. That's it. That may be the only case. So I'm not sure, but yeah, that may be the only case. Otherwise, you don't need to share your screen for anything. But share your screen only when your interviewer says for anything. There is no need to share your screen for any other aspect. It's all an interaction, just like a face-to-face interaction.
okay, sir.
Okay. Any more questions?
Sir, how are we gonna supposed to submit our resume?
Your resumes are online, man. Like the moment you are going for the
Student,
you already have a resume. The panelists already have a resume. You guys are already scrutinized.
They already have your resumes, so they'll be sitting with your resume once they'll connect with you.
So when I'm
But
taking
we
an interview,
haven't shared our.
sorry.
So we haven't shared our resumes till.
Probably when they'll share you the details, then if they require, they'll ask you to share your resumes also. They'll give you a registration link. They'll ask you to upload your resumes. That may be a case. Another case may be that they'll just verbally ask you what are your skills and what are your projects. So project is a major thing, I guess, in technical
Yeah.
interviews.
So guys, let me tell you one thing very clearly, that whenever your interviews are going on, whenever panelists are sitting for an interview, they already have your resumes with you. It's a rare case scenario. It's an exception that your interview is happening and the panelist doesn't have your resume. It never ever happens. Never ever. You in any ways before your interview session happens, you will be required to submit your resumes already. These days, all of the panelists have your interviews when you're taking an interview. They already have gone through your resume once before they start with the interview. They have already seen your resume. They have already scrutinized it. They already know what to ask from you. Just remember that. Your interview will start when they have already your resumes. They have already gone through it. It never ever happens. I have not seen it ever happening that I am taking an interview of a person whose resume I'm asking him on the interview. It never happens. The HR already forwards me the resume. I already have it with me. I have gone through it 30 minutes before already. I know what to ask from him. I know it very well. And when the interview starts, it simply starts. I have the resume in front of me. So it will always happen that case only. There's no case. I have not seen a case anywhere where during the interview you are being asked for a resume. It can happen in a face-to-face interview. It can never happen in a virtual interview. In a virtual interview, the panelists will always have your resumes. Still, you can keep it handy if you want. You can keep it handy and you can share, but that's never ever gonna happen. Never happened in my experience in terms of online interviews. Okay.
Sir,
Any more questions?
so what documents we have to keep with ourselves while giving interview?
No documents needed, man. Like you will be all documents. You will have all your documents already pre-submitted, as Garima ma'am told, and I can assure you that when your interview rounds happen and when you are on the verge of having online or face-to-face interviews or online interviews, all your documents are already submitted to the organization. They already have it. The panelists already have it. The only thing which you should keep with you is your resume, because they are going to ask you from resume only. Nobody is going to dig in into your mark sheets. Nobody is going to dig in into your any kind of mark sheets or any kind of 10th or 12th board percentages. Whatever is in your resume, who is the key to your success. That's why I mentioned that I'm going to mention this in my coming slide also. Your resumes actually have to be very precise. Each and every word written in your resume, you should be knowing that what does that word mean. So don't copy paste your resumes from your friends. You do that, I know, but don't do that. You need to understand your resume. You need to be thorough with your resume. Every panelist, every interviewer is going to ask you questions from your resume only. That's it. He doesn't. They don't have time, guys. Any interviewer is taking an interview. He would hardly like to spend 15-20 minutes with you. That's it. He would not like to spend a 1 hour session with you. He has when the interviews start happening, they have 30 interviews to take in a day. They have 40 interviews to take in a day. So understand this thing, that your first impression is your last impression. You can assume that you have the first 15 to 20 minutes of your interview, or 15 minutes, I'm telling them too much. The first 10 minutes of your interview are the actual duration when you actually leave an impression on the interviewer. In the first 10 minutes, he determines whether I'm selecting this guy or not. That's it. If he's stretching for less 10-20 minutes, that means it's positive. If he's not stretching, it is possible that he may say, okay, I'm good. So if he will not stretch, he will say, okay, I'm done, man, thank you so much. But understand this thing, that interviewers are very busy guys. They have to take 30-40 interviews in a day. So they will not want to spend an hour with you. They would hardly like to spend 15 to 20 minutes with you, at max 30 minutes per person. That's it. So your first 10 minutes are very, very important. So they will simply see your resume. They don't have time to go through all of your documents. They will simply see your resume. They will ask questions from your resume only. So I have a thorough preparation of your resume. So as I mentioned in this, let me go through this slide and you can keep on asking your questions. So as I already mentioned, you can see in this slide, study your projects and resume. That's very important. You have to be honest with it. So whatever you have written in your resume, you should have knowledge of that. So for instance, in your resume, you have written technologies, C, Java, HTML, PHP, AI, ML. You may write it down like as and when you want, but you shouldn't know what lies inside them. The guy should, the interviewer may ask you, hey, so you know AI? Okay, tell me what have you done in AI? He may ask you, okay, you know C. Tell me what projects you've done in C or what projects you've done in Java. If I'm asking if you've written Java, and I ask you a simple question, that do we have any pointers in Java? And you are like thinking, the moment you do that, you are gone, man. So if you have studied Java and if you don't know the answer to this question, so the interviewer knows that this is like you have just copy pasted it. You don't know anything about it. I'm just giving you an example. So when you are having technical rounds specifically, be very, very focused on what you are mentioning in your resume. The technology really matters, that what you are presenting in your resume. So each and every word written in your resume, you should have a know-how about it. That what's written there, you should know about it. Okay, so next point is very generic. So that research and practice answers to possible questions. You all know your possible questions. You all know what possible questions you may have. That introduce yourself. You may have questions on the projects which you have mentioned in your resume. You will surely have your questions on your projects which you have mentioned on the resume. That okay, what was your role on this project? What key role you played? What was your contribution in this project? What did you do to do a value add in your project? And they will ask you details on your project. They will ask you details on your technology. That's all going to happen. You know all these questions. So prepare well for them. You don't need to cram them up. You don't need to cram them up. Just be natural with your conversation when you're communicating, but at least have a knowledge of what you're going to say, right? And then the other point which I mentioned is have 2 questions ready to ask about the company and the position. So it's a very simple thing. When you will be done with your interview, guys, so it's a very normal thing, a natural thing. The interviewer is going to ask you said, "Hey, Devil, so I'm done with you. So, do you have any questions for me? Do you want to know something about something from me? Please let me know." So it's always good that you ask back. It's always good. You can always say and go ahead. Oh, no question on my side, sir. I'm good. It's not at all a bad thing. You can always do that. But my suggestion would be go ahead and ask something. Like for instance, you're giving an interview for Infosys, right? So you can simply say that, for instance, in today's scenario, you can ask, sir, can you please let me know that how Infosys has handled this pandemic situation? What all measures Infosys have taken, in this scenario? How they dealt with this particular pandemic situation in terms of employees, in terms of clients? Can you please elaborate on that? A simple question you can ask, and he'll be happy to answer on that. So that shows that, okay, this guy is also very much keen and interested in knowing about the organization in which he's getting placed. So please have such questions ready. Okay. And then, as I mentioned, practice, have a mock video chat with friends. So practice on camera already, guys. Whenever the first shot happens, you feel nervous. You don't know how you're going to look like. So before your interview day, like maybe for 2-3 days, keep on practicing for 15 minutes or 20 minutes with your friends, maybe with your family members, that how you're going to say when you're speaking in front of camera. How do you look? Is your face straight? Is your face the expressions are right or not? Your hands are moving right or not? Practice on that. That's very, very important, because the interviewers notice everything. They are going to notice each, because this is the only thing which is visible. They are taking an interview of this particular cameraman which is in front of them. So they will notice everything. They will notice your facial expressions. They will notice what you are wearing. They will notice your communication. That's all, right? Okay. Coming to the next slide, that during the interview. So this is about when your interview is started, right? That was preparation of the interview. This is now about when interview started. What all need to have. We already discussed many points, so I'll be kind of fast with that. Any more questions you need to ask before I go ahead?
Sir, should we mention our project on the resume? Because if we mention them, it becomes very lengthy.
So no, you should mention your projects on your resume. But like for instance, in your 4 years of your engineering, you have done 15 projects. No need to mention 15 projects. You need to mention your latest project first of all, only the latest one. So for instance, in your 4th year, like you are in your 4th year, and you have done 2 projects. That's it. That's sufficient enough. You don't need to mention your 1st year project or a 2nd year internship project. No need to mention that. If you are in your 4th year, you are in the 8th sem, you are having your final days of placements, you can mention your latest 2 projects which you did, and you should always mention those projects only which you actually know about, right? Because as I said, you will be asked on your projects. So mention those projects which you know about and which are latest, which you've done in your latest. Because if you're saying you are mentioning a 2nd year project and you are in your 4th year and you are giving an interview, and the moment it comes out that you did a project in 2nd year, he simply asks a question: why you put up a 2nd year project in your resume? I want to know about what latest you did right now in your engineering. See, everybody is interested in your latest knowledge. Everybody. Nobody would want to know like what did you did in 1st year except for your achievements. So if you had a gold medal in your first year, do mention that in resume, that you won a gold medal and you did this thing, you got an award for that. Do mention that. But nobody would be interested to know what project you did in 1st year as an interviewer. He would be interested to know what you are doing latest in your engineering before you are moving out of the college and you are coming to my organization. So mention your latest projects. You do mention that. Don't leave any resume just like this, which has no projects, because then he is not coming to know what have you done in engineering. He needs to know what have you done in engineering. So mention your latest projects and have a complete knowledge about them. What role, what did you play in that project? What value did you add in that project? What technology you used was overall used in that project? What all technology? There may be multiple technologies used. You should have an overview of all. I have taken interviews, and what he has answers. Like, let me give you an example. So I ask you this question: that what technology was being used in the project? You will say, sir, front end was in HTML and the back end was in Java. So and what was your role? So sir, I did the Java coding. I did the coding. I created database and I did the Java coding of the project. And then then he'll ask you some questions on the HTML part. That how did you show in the UI? How was this button looking on the UI? And if you say that, sir, that was not my part, that was being handled by my partner, so I have no idea on the HTML part. The moment you say this, it leaves a very bad impression. You at least should have an idea that what all happened in the project. You nobody will ask you that how what if you say I did in Java, it's okay, but at least you should have an idea of the UI. Whatever is being done in HTML, you should have an idea of that. Don't say that this was handled by my partner, so I have no idea about it. The moment you say this, your impression goes down. You were part of the project. You delivered this project to your faculties to college. You submitted that. You gave a report out of it. So you should have a knowledge about what happened in the HTML. What did you design? What complexity was there with you? Any challenges you faced in the project? That's all you should know, right? Never answer this thing. Never say in this manner. So this was done by my partner, so I don't know about this. Don't ever say that. You can say this. So this was handled. This HTML UI part was handled by my partner, and this is the UI which we designed. You can explain the UI a bit. That we designed this UI. This is what is happening in the UI, and he did the implementation of that, and I was handling the backend part. Make sense to you guys?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Ritvik, you have some question you can directly ask instead of writing it.
Yeah, I'm not able to see the chats, guys. Sorry. So please go ahead and ask me.
Ritvik? Acha. Okay, Ritvik has no mic option, so I'll read it for you.
Yeah.
The Ritvik is asking, sir, can we use our hands as a gesture or we need to keep hands low?
No, you
First
do use.
question.
Please, yes. Please use, guys. I'm using them, right? Please use
Okay,
them.
and
Yeah.
thank you. And next question is, as Ritvik is saying that as I've completed 6th semester, currently I have no project in 4th year. What should I include? Sorry for, okay, that's okay. So if he has not worked on any project like they are turning into 4th year now, so what should they include in projects?
You must have done some project in your engineering, right? Or you must have done your trainings, right? Training in Java,
Yes,
training
in trainings, yes, they have done their trainings. This time they have done so many online trainings, so you can mention
You
about
can
the
mention that.
projects
So Ritvik,
and the technologies. Yeah.
Yes. So
Hello.
Ritvik, hello.
Sir, sorry to interrupt, sir. Now I can easily see option of mic. Sir, actually, I was saying that
Okay.
I am doing my internship in Gurugram Police and I am developing a project. So can I mention that?
Oh,
currently?
that would be awesome. Yeah. Please do.
And
If
so,
you're doing, yeah.
Yep.
So Ritvik, if you're doing some project with some organization, like some government, like if you're doing some internship with your organization, like Gurugram Police or some very good brand, like, mention that very well in your resume. But as I said, please be confident and please have all the knowledge of your project. For instance, you're developing an Android app for your Gurugram Police. Just giving an example, random example. You should know what you develop in that app. You should know what did you code. You should know what's working, what's not working. Because the more prominently you show your project, the more questions would be asked on it. Remember that. But you have to mention them. You cannot escape out of this. कोई पतली गली नहीं है इसके लिए कि हम project mention ही नहीं करें हम निकल जाएं. Because that's your way of getting your showing off yourself that this is my skill set. I have done this, and that's why I'm capable of getting selected in an organization. So mention your projects very prominently, but have knowledge of those.
Yes, sir. Yes, I got it, sir. Thank you.
And secondly, you talked about using your hands. Yes, use your hands as a gesture because as I told you, only this much part of you is visible. You have only two things to express: your hands and your face. That's it. Use your hands, but use them efficiently. You don't need to move them fast. You need to move them for each and every answer. Wherever you think you need to express with your hands, you need to have some gestures. Use them. And then let it be natural. Let it be natural. No need to fake it out.
Yes, sir. I
Okay.
got it. Yes, I got it. Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. My question is that I am from electrical engineering background.
Mhm.
So my projects are based on electrical engineering, and I don't have any project on CS based project. So what should I do? I will mention my electrical projects, but they will be enough or not?
No. So if you are going for an interview in an IT company, Sparsh, right? You are going for an interview in an IT company, right?
Yes, sir.
So my suggestion to you would be that do mention electrical projects, no doubt on that, and please mention that in resume. But at least mention one project in IT. So maybe you can do some training, you can do some online course. For instance, you do online course in Java, online course in C, and whenever you do an online course, you have sample projects in that. Do that before your interview happens. Have a know-how of that course, completely gain the knowledge out of it, and do some sample projects in that, and mention those in your resume. If you are going for an interview in an IT company, the interview will be all based on IT only, my man. So they will be asked. So now the thing is, and the interviewer knows that you are from electrical branch. He knows that you are not proficient in IT. So what he is gonna judge you on? Now remember that. So when my branch was electronics and communication, I was not an IT guy, but I got selected in HCL Technologies, right? So the reason was I had a know-how of I have done programming. I did my programming when in my fourth year. I was not an expert programmer when I was giving the interview. I was not like somebody can give me something and I can code it out. No, but I had the knowledge of Java. I had knowledge of C. I had done programming. So when my interviewer told me that, you know what, can you make me a star program? I was able to tell the logic of that. You know, at least you should be able to tell the logics. I was able to talk on the syntaxes of the language. Okay. And then he asked me the full form of ASCII. I was able to tell the full form of ASCII. Right?
Yes, sir. I know that bit, but I know the coding part, but I don't have a project.
No problem in that, Sparsh. So do the answer to that question is go ahead, do some online course, do some online training, which is pretty much like, you know, quick, and you can have some projects in there and you can mention that.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, but please do that. Please do that. Your resume should reflect some kind of some IT part in that. You are going for an interview in IT company.
Thank you.
And also, Sparsh, you have cleared 2 rounds, so that proves that you're good at some
Yes.
language.
Yes.
So you can mention that language in your resume. If you're not able to do any projects or so, because the time is less probably, so you can like talk upon the language part, that though you are from electrical background, but you are here because you have cleared those rounds. So that is definitely a proof of that you're good
Yeah.
at the things they are looking for.
Thank you,
Yeah,
ma'am.
that's the best
Thank
part,
you,
Sparsh, that you guys have already cleared technical rounds. You guys are already rock stars. For me, you guys are rock stars already. Technical round clearance is the most toughest part. You guys have already done that. You may have some more technical rounds online. So that simply proves that you guys are technically good. So you just need to put it up in resume in some way. That's it.
Abhishek, sir, I would also like to apprise you that this virtual round is majorly technical only.
Okay.
And yeah, so this is a pure technical round, and as per my experience and knowledge, this ranges up to 1 hour also, in
Yeah,
which students, like, yeah, previously it used to be of like on campus, like students were required to go to Infosys for this round. But now due to
Okay.
this COVID thing, it's going virtual. So this is majorly technical only.
Okay, got it. So in that case, guys, somebody asked me this question that we may be required to share your screen. Yes, you may be required to share your screen. If somebody asks you if you have some kind of a coding round, that's it. But again, as I said, only share it when it's required. Don't share it by yourself. Okay, sir, I want to show you something. Please let me show you. No, don't do like that. Okay. Don't show your excitement, even if you are correct. Be calm, be composed. That's what I mentioned here. Be calm, be composed. Let interviewer tell you what he needs to see or what he needs to review. Okay. If it be purely technical rounds, you need to be technically sound. You already know that. I don't need to give any gyan on that. You guys have already cleared rounds, so you guys are good enough. So just going through quickly through this slide so that I can accomplish on this time. So you already know that you need to greet the interview at the moment you start the interview. So if you have a set of panelists, hi all. So I'm Abhishek, and it's a great opportunity to be here. I am very much obliged to be part of this session. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. And I'm available for the interaction. So you can prepare some few words for starting the conversation, right? Either they will start. If they don't start for 2 minutes, either you can start, right? So you can take the initiative. If for 5 minutes everybody is silent, you can take the initiative. You can say good morning. Otherwise, they'll start for sure. They'll say, hey, good morning, Abhishek. So let's start. How are you doing? It will start, right? So the moment they start, you need to be responsive. You need to have a virtual handshake. Hey, I'm good. Thank you so much for asking. I hope you all are doing great. Such kind of things, right? The other part is maintain eye contact. I already told you this, that when you are on the camera, always keep looking on the camera. If you have a multiple panel, like if you have a screen of Zoom where you can see the multiple interviewers at the same time, you can see 3 or 4 people at the same time. make sure you are like, you are moving you are having eye contact with each and everybody. You are seeing on your camera only, but you are tilting your eyes in a manner that the guys feels that, okay, you are interacting with each and every person. That's it, right? We talked about body language already. We talked about being natural already. Being precise, I already told you guys that be precise in your answers. No need to elaborate until and unless asked. Technical rounds are very precise. In HR rounds, you can go to any extent. You can have elaborated answers. If you are having a technical round, guys, be very precise. The technical questions are very precise. The answers are very precise. It's binary. It's either 1 or either 0. You know it or you don't know it, right? They cannot be. So don't create any ambiguous situation. So if you are being asked for a logic, if you take 5 minutes to tell, so the interviewer will already tell you, okay, Sparsh, take 5 minutes to think about it. We are waiting. Take your 5 minutes. Design the logic. You always keep, or as I said, one more thing, guys, you have a technical round, keep a pen and paper by your side. Keep a pen and paper by your side. Don't go to put it, like take it up when you realize, oh, I need that. No. As a prerequisite, put a pen and paper up on a notepad with you. Also put one glass of water with you. बीच में उत्तमा जाना पानी पीने के लिए कि sir, I am feeling nervous, I need to drink some water. Have a glass of water with you, and if you need to drink water, just tell the interviewer, sir, excuse me, I need to drink water, and then you you just mute yourself, drink water. No need to put off your camera. Let your camera be on. Have a glass of water, guys. Don't have a bottle of water. Okay? ये नहीं कि bottle उठाई और पी रहे हैं. These all count in your when you are on front of camera. I'm telling you guys, it may sound funny, but actually it's not funny. Interviewers see that, they observe that. So have a clean glass of water, and then when you say if you feel nervous, you want to have water, it may happen, it will happen. So just say, excuse me, sir, I need to just allow me to have a glass of water. Sip it up, keep it down, start up again. Don't have a bottle in front of you and just do that. Don't do that. And have a notepad and pen with you. Okay, so if you want to design a new logic, you want to have some thinking session going on, take your 5 minutes, do that, no problem at all. Interviewers are very much ready to give you the time to think about it. They know very well that you need time to think on the logics. Now when you know the answer, go ahead and say it. If you don't know the answer, you are not able to think about it, be precise and say, sir, I'm not able to recall at this point of time, sorry sir. I would surely go ahead, and after this interview, I'm going to search on this logic. That's it. No need to go round and round the answer. The moment you go round and round, you will be like they will make it more twisted for you. They are experts in what they are asking. So they will ask you questions like just like that, and your time would be wasted. They may ask you 5 more questions of which you may know the answer. You will not get a chance to answer them, right?
We have a question.
Last point in the slide is be calm. As I already.
Abhishek sir, we have a question.
Yes.
It's from Rishabh, and he's asking that I chose to attempt the questions in PY3, but I am more comfortable to answer the questions on spot in CPP. So will language be a barrier in the interview, considering it as a technical interview? Like probably he has chosen this Python language in the questions in Hack with Infi, but now he's saying that he's more comfortable to answer on C++. So will this be a barrier in his interview?
This will not be a barrier, but yes, as I told you guys that you have cleared technical rounds. You already know that what all technical questions are being asked. So as freshers, you are supposed to be multitasking. You are supposed to know basics of each and every language. So you cannot say that I don't know C++, so I cannot answer that. I'm an expert in Python, I cannot answer in C++. If you say so, it gives a very bad impression. See, understand this thing. As a technical guy, the base of your engineering or the technical thing starts from which languages? C, C++, Java. This is what we learn in your engineering, basic engineering, right? The Python, ML, AI, these are all advanced languages which you learn beyond your engineering. You are doing some internship in Python. You are doing some internship in AI, ML, or some kind of database language like SQL, MySQL, Postgres. That is something advanced you are doing. But the expectation is that you are coming from an engineering background. You should have the basic knowledge of C, C++. Nobody is going to ask you questions out of C, C++, Java. Anyways, Nobody's going to start asking you questions on AI until and unless they see it in your resume, right? So if you have written in your resume Python, they will surely ask you questions on Python. So be prepared for that. But that doesn't mean that you can go ahead and say to the interviewer that, oh, sir, I have been working on Python since last 1 year, so I have forgotten C, C++, I don't know about it. No, that's not an option. That's not an option. You have to be prepared for the basics answers of C, C++. So guys, don't be afraid of technology. Nobody is expecting that you will write the proper syntaxes and, you will write the perfect coding in each and every language. When they did a technical interview, when they are having a virtual interaction, it will be more on the logics, more on the syntax, knowing that you know the syntax and you know the logics. It will be more on the logical part, and it will be more that how much you know of the language. They will ask you that, okay, you say, I know encapsulation in C++. So they will simply tell you, how do you program this? How do you show in a program that you have done encapsulation, right? So you can explain encapsulation, and then you can, in a manner, you can explain a program that, okay, this is how I do encapsulation. So you should know the basics. You should know the basics at least. You can say I'm an expert in Python, but if somebody asks you a question on C++, a very basic question like what is encapsulation, explain me this, how do you do that and this and all, like there are hundreds of technical questions which I can think of right now. So you should be able to explain the basics. Does that answer your question?
Yes, we can move ahead. His mic is not working actually. I guess that is sufficing.
Okay. And now in this slide, I would like to come be calm. So that's a simple thing, guys. There may be various instances. If you have a 1 hour interview session. Again, as I said, your first 15 minutes would be very important. That is, the first 15 minutes of your interview will set up the expectation from your interviewer. Your impression will be set in first 15 minutes only. Next 45 minutes is all about going on and on. So if he's impressed with you, he will be excited to ask you questions. If he is not impressed, he will go on with the flow as he has to do a session. But first 15 minutes for you guys are very important to put up an impression in front of the interviewer. Please remember that. Secondly, if you have any kind of situation in the interview session that you are annoyed, you are not happy with the interview. See, interviews can behave in many manners. It is possible that the interviewer may come, they may come in a bad attitude. They may be asking you very rudely or very straightforward. They can tell you, hey, you don't know even this. You don't know even this. You don't know even this logic. This is so easy. You don't know how to write a Fibonacci series. That's very bad of you. You must have read in the first year of engineering. You don't know about this. They can tell that like that. They can sometimes interviewers do it on a deliberate purpose. Sometimes they do it intentionally. They want to judge you. How do you behave? How do you behave in practical scenario? So what from your end, you guys need to be very calm. You guys need to simply say, sir, sorry for this. I'm really sorry. I apologize that I am not able to recall at this point of time that on this particular logic. But I'm going to surely work on that as I move out of this interview. I'm going to surely going to work on my basics, and I'll be prepared the next time. So no problem in that, sir. Maybe we can move ahead with other questions. I may be able to answer them. Right? So you need to maintain your calmness. You need to maintain your composure. You don't need to get annoyed. You don't need to show any kind of attitude. Remember, guys, you have to get placed. You don't have to go into an argument at all. Even if, for instance, it happens that you know that your answer is right and your interview says no, it's wrong, just give your explanation. That's it. So you give your explanation, sir, my answer is right, this is the logic, I know this is right, sir, and interviewer is still adamant on this one. No, I know this is wrong, this is not the right way to do it, this is not the right answer. So you simply say, okay, sir, thank you so much, but I believe this is the right answer, this is my logic, but even if you say so, I will review it again after the interview. No problem. Thank you so much for the response. That's it. No need to argue with him. There is no need to argue with him. He may be judging you also. Because guys, when you will go into your companies, you will have client interactions. When you will have client interactions, I have it daily. There are so many hot arguments going on. I cannot shout on my client. That's what we have to learn as an IT professional. You cannot shout on your client. You cannot be arguing with your client. So for right now, at this point of time, your interview is your client. You have to sell yourself to him. So you cannot argue with him. You have to handle him in a tactical manner, right? And that's what they judge you on: how positive your attitude is, how calm you are, how composed you are, how confident you are in your answering. If you know your answer is right, it will show up from your conversation. It will show up from the way you are expressing it. It's as simple as that. Okay. Okay. Coming to the, I will be very quick on the now slides, like, because we are out of time, I guess. So some questions. I don't think I need to go into detail of this one. You already know all these questions which you must prepare. That about your project, about, like, you should know how to introduce yourself. You must already working on that, right? And what all value added in your project. The one important question which I would like to point you out here is, this may not be part of the technical round, but again, you should be knowing about this one. That why should we hire you? As simple as that. That technical guy may ask or may not ask this question, but have the answer ready. Why should we answer you? So you need to portray some unique capability of yours. That this is what my capability is. I can do that. But that's why you should hire me. For example, I'm capable, and I possess the skill set that I can multitask, or I can learn any technology in a very quick period of time. I'm capable of that. So even right now, I'm an expert in Python. But if you take me into Java, I will be able to train in 1 month, and I'll be able to work on it. So that some kind of answers you can prepare like that. Okay. And just have a readout of any kind of latest technology which you are dealing in. If somebody asks you, do you know any about any kind of latest technology? If you know, simply say, okay, I know about Python. I've done a 6 months training in Python. I know about AI, but only say it when you know about it. If you don't know about it, simply say, no, sir, I didn't get a chance to look into any of the latest technologies. I'm still reading about them. Okay. Then coming to the few more possible questions. This is simply kind of more of the HR questions. So, these are the questions which you can ask from your company, which I already told you. You can ask what kind of role we are getting in, or what, as I told you, I believe at this point of time, the best question to ask is that, sir, how your company is right now dealing with the pandemic situation. What are the steps you have taken for the benefit of your employees? Ask this question. That's it. You are done. Right? They will take 5 minutes to answer this question.
Good morning, sir.
But not all 19 of you asking the same question.
Yeah, not 19 of you. I'm saying if you are going on the same interview, you should have some other questions also. But yeah, this is the best question to ask. That's what I was saying.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Sir, can we ask a question like, tell me about my mistakes so that I can make improvement on it?
No. I guess you can ask not like this. You should not ask it so much directly, because they would not be interested in telling you that. Actually, they may give you a feedback during the conversation itself, right? No need to ask a direct question like that, because
Okay.
let me tell you the reason for that. In that way, you are accepting that your interview didn't go well, right? You're accepting yourself that, sir, my interview didn't go well. I did mistakes. So please tell me how do I improve? You should not do that. You should have, even if your interview didn't go well, be calm, be composed, be confident. See, whenever technical round happens or any kind of interview happens, technical knowledge is the primary key for them to judge you. But there are other aspects also. So you may be good at communication. You communicated well. Your expressions were very good. You are conversed very well. They were impressed by the way you are communicating with them. You are explaining yourself. So your technical knowledge may have been average. So out of 10 questions, you answered 6 right, 4 went wrong for you. But they also will see your communication. They also will see how you are expressing yourself, how confident you are in answering your questions, how good you are in accepting your mistakes and saying yes or no. There are so many factors. So you don't know right now on what basis the interviewer is judging you. So why are you accepting yourself that I did my mistakes? And please tell me, where can I improve? No need to ask this question. This means you are accepting that, okay, my interview went bad, sir. Sorry, sir, I cannot be selected. Tell me, how can I improve? So no need to ask this, right?
Okay.
Yep. Okay, these are some questions, very simple, that you can ask from your interview panel. But I don't think you should ask the questions like, I wrote this wrongly, that what are company goals in this quarter? You should not ask that question. No need to ask financial questions. Just ask simple questions like, sir, what could be my role when I join the organization? What will be my initial role? Will I get some kind of training, what may be the technology in which I may be joining in, such questions you can ask, right? And sir, what, like as I already mentioned, what measures you took for the benefit of the employees in pandemic situation, and will I get an on-site opportunity? So that kind of questions you can ask, right? Okay. So coming to the like almost to this last slide. So we have already discussed on these points that you already have a specific time allocated for you. So take a note of the time, and please be aware that you have this much time. You need to utilize this is the most important 1 hour of your life. So you have to treat it as the most important hour of your life. Be prepared for that. Whatever preparation for you, whatever help you're getting from this interaction, please take that. I would be very glad if you are getting some positive feedback from here and you can take that. But please be prepared for the interviews. Again, very important point that if you're not able to understand any question, please feel free to ask the interviewer that can you please repeat this question? I didn't get you completely. No problem in that. You can always ask that question. Interviewers are very glad to help you out in that. Nobody would be frustrated to know that. Okay. Secondly, if your interviewer is giving you a feedback in a very straightforward manner also, that as I already told you right now, if he's saying that, okay, hey Sparsh, you need to improve here. You are not you didn't give me this logic right. The syntaxes are not good, and I'm not happy with this one. It's okay. No need to feel demotivated. No need to feel like kind of from your face. It should not look like you're demotivated. Simply say like, okay, sir, thank you so much for your feedback. I'll take a note of it, and I am glad that you gave me this feedback. It's very helpful for me. So thank you so much for that. I'll take a note of it. Understood. That's it. No problem in that. Allow the interviewer to talk more when you are getting such feedback so that he can move ahead and ask more questions. Because it is possible that he may not be happy with the current answer which you gave, but he may be interested in you. He is impressed with you, is interested in you, so he may ask more questions to you in some other manner. That is completely possible. Last point, which I already told you, there since we are having virtual interaction, there are always unforeseen challenges. Ghar ki light chali gayi, you have electricity gone, your laptop crashes, laptop hangs, it hangs, your screen hangs. It has happened with me many a times that I'm sharing my screen with somebody. I'm giving a demo and my screen hangs out, like it hangs out, it gets stuck. So, and I don't realize this. So this all may happen in a virtual interview. Your camera gets stuck, your screen crashes, your Zoom crashes, your Google Hangout crashes, your laptop crashes. No need to lose any kind of calm or lose any kind of temper. As I already told you, if you have your backup device ready, you will not face any issues, right? So have a backup device ready, have one more laptop, one more mobile device, anything which you can arrange ready with the link ready. The moment you find it, okay, the moment electricity is gone, my net got disrupted, join from other device having an alternate internet connection. Maybe you start your dongle mobile hotspot, join from a mobile. And that point of time, join from a mobile and say, sir, I lost electricity at my home, so I lost the internet connection. So I'm joining back from the mobile. Sorry for the inconvenience. And then you can show it from a mobile itself. Put it, okay, don't handle, one more thing. If you're using mobile in any worst case scenario, don't put it on your hand. Don't treat it like this, like give an interview like this, right? Don't give it like this at any point of time. Don't put it on your hand. Try to keep your mobile somewhere at a place near the wall and then speak it out. Just like you put your laptop here, put it in front of your wall and speak it out. Don't handle like this and give the interview. Because if you do it like this, you will be only showing your face or your head on the camera to your interviewer, which will give you a very bad impression. I have faced this. The guy who was giving me interview on the phone, he didn't know that I can see only his head. I can see his ears only. He was cheating like this. Okay, sir, what are you saying? Okay, sir, what are you saying? It was so bad. Like, it was such a very bad impression on me. I was thinking like he is not even realizing that what he is doing. He is showing me his ear and he's trying to listen to on the mobile phone. So you should have your backup setup always ready, right? So with this, I end my slide and I end my interaction here. It's simple, guys. You need to have your self-confidence in. I believe right now the people who are conversing with me here, you guys have cleared 2 technical rounds. For me, you guys are rock stars, man. You guys are already on the verge of getting selected. So have that confidence in you. Have that achievement within you, within your hearts, that you have cleared rounds. You are ahead of thousands and millions of people who are fighting for the same position you are already ahead, like probably more than one step from them. So you are already ahead of them. You guys deserve to be in this organization. So guys, have that confidence in you, and with that confidence, go in the interview. And confidence will come when you are prepared. So whatever tips I shared with you, if you find them helpful, I'm sure they are. Please follow them. Please be prepared and go ahead with your interviews, man. I'm pretty sure you'll be successful. No problem in that. So that's it from my side, guys. I guess I'm done. Any more questions you have for me, I would be glad to answer.
It was a wonderful session, Abhishek sir. Students, any questions? So we shall be ending the session in a while. Any questions from your side?
Excuse me, sir. Sir, Ratvik Dadi this side. Sir, I would like to ask a question. That's my main interest lies in cybersecurity. So, sir, I have mentioned cybersecurity in a broad manner in my resume. So, sir, will that help me, or will the interviewer very interested in asking me a question about cybersecurity?
Yes, why not? He will be. So as I said, guys, whatever you are putting up in your resume, he will be interested. Cybersecurity is a very, you can say a very latest trending area right now. So he would be very much interested to know your interest and your skill set or your achievements in that particular area. If you've done your project in cybersecurity, first of all, it's already unique. Not everybody is doing that. So if you are able to explain that very well, but in a precise manner, it will be very helpful for you only. It will help for sure.
Yes, sir. I have done many projects in cybersecurity. Actually, all the projects I did are on cybersecurity, and along with that, I have some Hall of Fames and I have ranked in top 10 among many CTFs. So, will that help me in my achievement section?
It will help. So maintain your achievements precisely in your achievement section. And if you've done like 10 projects, I want to suggest you that you fill your resume with 10 projects. No need to do that. Only some key projects which you have done, which you think are the best, which you have done, and which you can
latest
explain
and the best. Yes.
Latest and the best, which you can explain. Only put that. For hard, like for instance, don't see guys. I would suggest don't put more than 3 or 4 projects in your resume.
Yes, sir. I'm getting this.
Not more than 3. I believe those are sufficient. 3 to 4 projects are sufficient to showcase. So don't put that. Also, as I said, cybersecurity, Python, you may be good at that, but have basic knowledge of your languages. C, C++, Java. Have basics of that. Whatever you study in engineering, go ahead and Google it out. You will find so many questions. See, the most good part about technical round is understand this thing very with focus. The good part of technical round is this is not a rocket science. Nobody can make new questions, right? All the questions are available on Google. All the answers are available on Google. You guys are so lucky in this generation to have such a billions of data of Google of data bank on Google or search engines. Nobody can create new questions, man. Nobody has time for that. Even the interviewers, they ask all the practice and frequent questions. Nobody generates a new question. The new questions can generate only from your projects. That's it. So if I tell you that if you're a guy from electrical and you need to practice C, C++, Java, then I would tell you to go to Google, go to find out the questions which are being asked very frequently. You will find one question at 10 sources. So you will come to know, okay, it's a frequent question. You can practice that, and you can practice that on lines. The more difficult part is the HR rounds where, you may have questions which you have never heard of, but we're not talking about that here. So at that time, you have to be natural and confident. Here, technical round, the best part is that questions will not be kind of, coming from somewhere like from another planet. They are all which you must have heard of already. And most of them would be from your resume only. One more thing, guys. I just noticed, Ritvik, I guess you have a very, whose profile pic you have? Who's that guy?
Sorry, sir. Actually.
Who is this?
So this is Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider, yes. So guys.
Yes, I know about him.
So I will change it. I will change it for sure now only.
Yeah.
So you guys need to be professional now.
Please make sure that we are going for the interview. Please make sure when you're going for the interview, don't have such profile pics. Either have no profile pic or your actual profile pics. Decent ones, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, I got it.
I also have a question, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, like some interviews ask that where do you see yourself from 5 years from now, or like some interviews also ask that what are your future plans.
Mm-hmm.
Like speaking out me that I want to run a business, but some seniors advise me that don't ever say that, because when you're gonna say that, so the interviewer might think that if he recruits you, then you might leave the company in 1 or
Yes,
2
they're
years.
right. They're right in saying that. They're right in saying that. See, guys, you are selling yourself, bro. You have to get placed right now. You may have like any kind of dream. You want to become next Bill Gates or next uh, anybody like next Tesla guy. No problem in that. But right now, remember the situation. You have to get placed. You have to tell the interviewer, sir, I love Infosys. I'm the best person to be in Infosys. I am dying to be in there. This is what you have to showcase. So I will never ever leave Infosys. I'll retire from Infosys. This is what you have to tell. This is what you have to tell. So for you, you have to, for that point of time, you have to show your interviewer that it is my dream company. I'm going to retire from there only. If I get selected in Infosys, it will be my dream come too. I don't want anything else in my life for now. Somebody asks you, where do you see yourself in 5 years? You can simply say that, sir, in Infosys, I see myself at a senior position where I have much more exposure. I'm managing a wide team and I'm adding value to the organization with my skill set and my designation. That's it. Don't need to be that much honest, man. That is also a tactic to get over the interviews. So if you need to get selected, don't tell that. If you want to be an entrepreneur, awesome. It is possible. Maybe in future your company may also help you out. But at this point of time, you need to get selected. So you need to tell how much you love the organization. Right? They are right. Your
Sir,
seniors are right.
sir, I also have a doubt.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes.
Sir, in technical round also, interviewer can ask regarding company details, let you know the name of CEO and founder and etc.
No. They generally don't do that. Generally, they don't do that. Nobody does that. Nobody asks that. Okay, tell me the name of CEO. Tell me the name of. Nobody does that. But at least have a know-how of like Infosys. You should already know that who the CEO is, who the director is. But nobody
There is
will ask
no
you.
harm in being prepared for it.
Yeah,
Like you
be
never
prepared
know
for it.
how it comes.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. And sir, about current technologies, the company working on.
See, every company, like if you're talking about Infosys specifically.
Yes, sir.
So see, companies like Infosys, HCL, they all are working on all the technologies all over the world. You have no idea. So they are working on AI, they are working on ML, they are working on Java, they are working on C, they're even working in Pascal. They are even working on every technology they are working on. So they are working on every technology. You name it, they are working on it. They may projects going on everywhere. So from the company's point of view, they are working on every technology you want. They will ask you that what technologies you have worked upon on any of the latest technologies. Do you know about them? Have you read about them? What knowledge do you possess? They will ask you actually. They will not say that, okay, tell me what Infosys is latest working on. They will not ask you that. I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Hello, sir. Divakar here.
Yeah, Divakar.
Sir, I have a question regarding projects actually.
Mm-hmm.
So, since last year, I've done some of the projects with my clients. I actually do freelancing, and most of these clients are usually local business or maybe a chiropractor or a dentist. So these people need static websites, and so I've made only static websites, no like any e-commerce site or any dynamic websites. So is it okay to put in that
Yeah, it's
website on my
okay.
resume?
No harm in it. No harm in it. Nobody's expecting you to build a dynamic website when you are in college. Like I believe it's an achievement already that you are building static websites, you are building HTML websites for your clients. It's an achievement itself that within the college duration you are already working for some actual clients, so that you can always showcase that I have worked for actual clients. These sites are already live. You can see them. So no harm at all in that. Nobody can expect that in a college duration you can build an e-commerce website, man. Nobody. I don't think any interviewer is going to expect that. So no harm in portraying your projects. The only thing which I said again, I'm repeating again. The moment you are mentioning it in your resume, you should have complete knowledge about it. If you say I developed a static website, next question would be, in what technology would you develop that? Did you do it in XHTML? Did you deal in HTML5? Did you use React.js for that? So they are going to use the technology name, and based on that, they can ask you questions. So if we say I built it in XHTML, they'll ask you questions on the HTML part. That how do you did the spacing? What type of text font you used? how did you put up the style, what type of CSS you developed, that kind of questions, right?
Sure, sir.
So be
Thanks.
prepared on what you are doing. That's it. You can always portray that.
Sir, I have one more question.
Yep.
Sir, as you have mentioned that the first 50 minutes are very important for the interviewer and for us. So, sir, I would like to ask you a question that can you tell us some points about, tell me about yourself. What should speak in that particular question? Because on Google, I have seen many interview samples. In that, sir, many of the students have mentioned about their long-term goals and short-term goals regarding hobbies, strength, and weakness. So, sir, can you please tell us that what are the some key points we should speak in this particular question?
See, I would suggest, first of all, be natural. Don't try to cramp up the question.
Yes.
If you cramp up, speak it in a manner it sounds natural. First of all, हर कोई इस क्वेश्चन को कान से याद करने की कोशिश करता है. Be try to उसमें इंटरव्यू को नहीं लगना चाहिए कि you have आपने उसको रटा है और आप उसको बोल रहे हो. First of all, because I have taken interviews of freshers, the moment they start speaking, I know they have crammed it up. So don't know. So try first of all, when you are speaking it out, be natural. Secondly, if you are saying that what should I tell, so first of all, tell about your basics, which you all do. This is like I'm Abhishek Mathur. I've done my engineering from Pune College Engineering to this batch, 2020 batch. I belong to Jaipur. I am a resident. I'm a localite of Jaipur, and I stay with my family right now. And my father is a doctor. My mother is a homemaker, and this is my. No need to tell. You can skip aggregates if you want. If you have very good aggregates in engineering, you can obviously tell that I secured 86% marks in my fourth year, and I love to do blah blah blah. So you can tell my strengths and your strengths and weakness, that I'm good at this. And no need to portray your weakness. You know, sometimes people do that. You know, they try to portray weakness in a manner that they try to their strength. Like my weakness is that I'm very much dedicated to my work. Such kind of answers. So such kind of answers can actually, it's good to give such answers, but be prepared for some follow-up questions on that. And then I would suggest that rather than telling your long-term goals and short-term goals, be precise. Tell your strengths, tell your weakness, and tell that, okay, so this is what I'm good at, and this is my strength, and I'm very much keen. I'm very much delighted to be part of this interaction, and thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. And I'm very keen to be part of Infosys. So that's what my dream about. So keep it simple. No need to stretch it that this is my long-term goal, this is my short-term goal. The more you will stretch it, first of all, the interviewer may lose interest in that. Secondly, they may start asking more questions on that, which you may not want. You may not have the answers. If you say, in 5 years from now, I want to be director of the Infosys, you have no idea right now कि Infosys में director कितने साल में बनते हैं. Infosys में director बनते हैं 30 years में. And you will say, okay, I want to be a director in Infosys in 5 years from now. So that will not make sense, right? So keep your introduction pretty much simple and natural. This is my family background. Professionally, I have done my engineering. If you live, like for instance, somebody mentioned here that he loves Python. He has done projects in Python. So go ahead and tell that I love Python. I have interest in Python technology. I have done many projects in that. Since it's a technical round, so you can always say that. You should be saying that. कि मुझे अगर आपका किसी टेक्नोलॉजी पे अच्छा कमांड है, if you're good in cyber security, go ahead and tell that my interest lies in cyber security. I have except my engineering course, I have also been working on the cyber security part. I've done a few projects and my interest lies here, so that's also very good. That's an extra asset for me, which I can always try to utilize when I join the organization. Such points like that.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir.
Hello.
Yes.
Sir, I have my experience in my graduation, and I have my some achievements. So what speak I first, if interviewer asks me to tell me about yourself, so first, so what should I include first? Is either achievements or my experience?
Your experience counts more. Your experience counts more, Dheeraj. Achievements is something which they'll be already on your resume, right? So I believe you should tell more about your experience. Like if you have some, as I said, you have some experience in some technology which you did, because it's a technical round. Remember that it's a technical round. So technical people will be more concerned with your, or more focused on your technology. If this is your HR round, you can always go ahead and tell, I won an award for this in this particular event. I won an award in this particular event. I did this particular social social service, so I won an award there. You can do that in HR round. If it's a technical round, focus on the more of on your technical achievements. So you can, in your introduction only, you can say that okay, I was a part of this hackathon and I won a prize of 10,000 rupees there. I won the first prize there, and we did this project. So that's what something which I consider as my achievement till now. That can be part of introduction.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I guess students, you have got the answers to all your questions. And we have already taken a lot of time of Abhishek sir today, but I think it was worth it for our students. So thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma'am, and thank you so much.
Thanks a
All.
lot on
It's
behalf
very nice
of all
interacting with
these
you. I'm
students.
delighted and yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, and I'm delighted to have you guys interacting with me. It's already very good to know that you guys are already on verge of cleared rounds, and you guys are doing so good. So my best wishes to you all, and feel free to ask any more questions you have. You can drop into Garima ma'am, and if you want any more answers, I would be glad to interact and maybe send back you the responses. My
All
best
right.
wishes to you all. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you
Thank you
so
so